So now we'll do a brief overview of each of the 7 projects. The Outer Stark Corridor Improvement Project is using Build Portland dollars to upgrade paving and signals on Southeast Stark Street from Southeast 108th to Southeast 162nd Avenue. The project also provides enhanced pedestrian crossings and safety improvements in this corridor, and the project is expected to start construction in late 2020. The 42nd Avenue Bridge and Corridor Improvement Project is using Build Portland dollars to replace the bridge structure and upgrade paving. The project also provides sidewalk, pedestrian crossings, and bikeway improvements. That project is expected to start construction in early 2021. The Lentz Town Center Improvements Project is using Build Portland dollars to upgrade paving along the Foster Road Woodstock Boulevard couplet. The project also provides sidewalk, pedestrian crossing, and bikeway improvements, and is expected to start construction in June 2020. The North Lombard Main Street project is using the Build Portland dollars for pavement reconstruction on Lombard Street from North St. Louis to North Richmond Avenue. The project also includes crossing treatments, transit pad improvements, and curb extensions. And this project is expected to start construction in late 2020. The next 2 projects are citywide with locations throughout the city, and the work is being completed on a continuous cycle of design and construction. The ADA compliant corner ramp improvement project is using Build Portland dollars to complete ADA compliant corner ramp improvements over the next 7 years. The ramps are prioritized by first addressing ramps requested by persons with disabilities, and then by risk, equity, and other measures such as access to transit. The traffic signal system improvement project is using Build Portland dollars for signal reconstruction and rapid flashing beacons across the city. And traffic signal improvements are prioritized by safety, equity, and asset condition. The last of the 7 projects is the Mount Scott Community Center rehabilitation. While still in pre-development, this project anticipates Build Portland dollars going towards the rehabilitation of the facility, which could include a number of the items shown on the slide. The project, once the scope is finalized, expects to start construction in summer 2022. The Phase 1 funding approach includes balancing when general fund is needed to fund debt service with the project progress to ensure the dollars are spent and to minimize the fees associated with taking on this debt. The limited tax revenue bonds were authorized last April, and based on the Phase 1 project spend projection, the Build Portland Phase 1 funding approach is to 1, issue a line of credit in fiscal year 1920 as the Phase 1 projects ramp up from pre-development and design into construction. We would replace that line of credit with the bond in late 2021-22 when the projects are projected to 1, need a significant amount of Build Portland dollars, and 2, are well underway and committed to reach completion. This manages the city's risk by delaying taking on debt as long as possible and minimizing the fees and debt service. This also aligns with the expected timeline for returning revenue, some of which is intended to fund the debt service on the bond, as well as potentially fund future phases of Build Portland.
So could I just stop you there? Because I think this is incredibly wonderful that Mayor Wheeler had the thought to take money that's coming back from tax increment financing districts and dedicate some of it, borrowing this money so that then we can get ahead a little, we're not going to get ahead, but we're going to really make a dent in these projects. This is brilliant.
It's called fraud.
You're the only one who's actually been able to figure out a way to.
You can't take money from one
gap.
one thing and put it in
Oh,
another.
it's a horrible gap and it's getting bigger and isn't that terrible? And you came up with a way.
You need to speak on this.
It's not good. So I just want to really applaud that and explain that's why we're borrowing the money, because we're getting the money coming back from tax increment financing districts. They're otherwise known as urban renewal areas. So people said, well, we've got all these property taxes because we've taken care of some formerly blighted areas in some cases. What's the good of that? This is the good of that.
Thank you.
I would say that right up front if I was you. I would very of you there. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, continue. Re-election.
I don't even know how to.
No, if you put,
He's speechless.
yeah, if the money's put in one thing, like say 82nd Street project,
Right.
So as
and you
stated
take money
earlier,
out of the
Portland
82nd
program
Street
is a
project
multi-year
that's already been approved there,
Program duties
you can't
essentially
do that.
serve as follows. The chief administrative
Even if you
office
plan on
is the
putting it
Bill Portland
back.
Program administration, which includes a number of items we'll discuss shortly. The city budget office leads the financial forecasting in regards
Just like
to
the Red
program
Cross
dollars
can't take
available and the long-term
disaster money
projections for when returning
and
revenue
put
will
it
be
into
available
another disaster
for
fund.
consideration for the next phase of projects. The Bureau of Revenue and Financial Services, and more specifically debt management, determines how to finance the Build Portland program, and in particular, how to manage the risk of phase one, which was initiated in anticipation of, but in advance of that returning revenue. And the infrastructure bureaus are responsible for the delivery of the project selection for Build Portland. So just as each phase one project has project scope and costs, Build Portland as a program has administrative scope and costs. These include communication and outreach, so consider this an approach to community outreach and education, including why there's a maintenance gap, the goals and intentions of the Build Portland program and project progress, the coordination of the program across the multi-bureau partnership, which would include project progress tracking, any expected Build Portland collateral that might come out of the communication and outreach development that would need to be coordinated with project staff. So this could include signage at construction sites or groundbreaking events. And then aligning the project progress with the availability of funds and the evaluation and determination of when to initiate phase two. And with that initiation of phase two, the development of a long-term funding approach to those next phases of projects. And so finally, as we're here at the end of fiscal year 18-19, here is our work plan for fiscal year 19-20. So the phase one projects will advance, and to highlight the first of the location-specific projects, which is expected to be the Lentz Town Center project, should start construction in late spring 2020. Debt management will also issue the line of credit later this fiscal year to fund those project expenditures. The team will initiate the communication and outreach approach with the selection of a consultant team to provide professional services. The citywide program administration and the multi-bureau partnership will continue. We expect the advisory committee to meet for quarterly program updates. And we will be back before you next spring in 2020 to provide the next annual update on the Build Portland program. So that is the end.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions? Commissioner Fish.
First of all, I want to echo what Commissioner Fritz said in terms of the innovative way of closing the gap. And I think you began the hearing by saying we have a $310 million annual funding gap. So I have two thoughts for next steps. One is that I am regularly reminded in communications I get from the public that there's a lot of confusion when it comes to our budgets about the difference between operating dollars and capital dollars and restricted dollars versus unrestricted dollars. And frankly, it takes a long time in this building to get to a point where you understand that with your own euros much. And so to expect the public to have an understanding of what we call the color of money and what can and can't be used for things is asking a lot. And then we use these numbers interchangeably, so we use the all-in number, including capital dollars, and sometimes we use the operating dollars. And so I have found there's a healthy amount of confusion in terms of bureaus and what we budget for. That's number one. Number two is I think we could do a much better job at focusing in on capital budgets and how we plan by bureau to close the gap. So for example, as you noted earlier, the public utilities are in a unique situation because they have dedicated revenue. And they have a revenue stream that allows them to spend a lot of capital dollars to maintain the system. That's not true of parks, housing, or PBOT, for example. And so, Mayor, one of the things I'm going to follow up with you to sort of test drive is I think we should tweak our conversation about capital spending during the budget season so that we not only talk about the deficit in each bureau, but we also talk about all the strategies we're employing by bureau to close that gap. And some are different. I mean, PBOT goes out for bonds, PBOT goes out for gas tax increases, PBOT, according to the chart you gave us, gets the lion's share of the Bill Portland money, and on and on and on. Well, I think a pie chart that shows how we're getting at that would be important. I guess what I'm saying is, I don't think we should look at Build Portland anymore as a separate initiative. I think what we should do is tie it all together with all the capital spending and tell the story about how we're doing in meeting that deficit. Because that's what people are going to understand. They're not going to understand 5 or 6 one-offs. And utilities are different because they have dedicated funding. And we wish that every bureau was funded in a way that allowed for such predictable decision-making. So I hope we try that and have a deeper dive in the budget season as to how by bureau we're going to tackle this capital spending deficit.
That's a great suggestion, Commissioner.
And then integrate all the different funding sources so that people get a sense of the pie chart of what we're doing. So I appreciate the presentation.
Very good. Thank you. Is there any public testimony on this item, Carla?
Yes, there are 2 people signed up.
Very good.
Maggie and Jan comment.
I haven't signed up.
You don't have to just walk out. Walk out. They won't stop.
You know, say something.
They can stop.
Yeah.
Get it.
Maggie, you want to?
I just want to say, Portlanders can't understand budgets.
That's actually not what I said. I said that there's, just to be clear what I said, in the communication that I've been getting from a lot of people, there's confusion about the difference between operating dollars and capital dollars. Dollars that are restricted and unrestricted. And I don't think we do a good enough job explaining the difference. That was my point. It has nothing to do with the public. It has to do with our ability to communicate those differences.
Oh, okay, all right, I'll buy that. Okay, all right. I just want to say, just like before, when you do infrastructure for like bicycle lanes and pedestrians, you can build a mid-size city for the amount of that you do for a four-lane freeway. So it's not the amount of money you need for infrastructure, it's how you spend it and what kind of infrastructure you're going to do, because we want to move to a greener
being sued
way
again.
of life, a more human sense of proportion.
Put on
Everybody
his
that I've
website
talked to,
from an Antifa
they want
man.
to just shut down the whole downtown area and turn it into a pedestrian and bicycle
Right.
mall, because that's going to bring people in to actually buy stuff.
But you know, he still has been served on the
Support the economy, because
right.
nobody who drives around
Think
in a
it'll be
car
true.
stops and buys
think so.
anything or stops in a store to eat. You know, it's
Just
people
like
who
Eli
walk
put an
around and
anti-stalking
bicycle
order out on
around
me,
and
but he
scooter
hasn't
around
had it served yet.
buy things. So, and ride.
Okay, turn that hearing aid down.
Grocery store, they buy things. So, you know, people in cars, they go somewhere else because they've got a car and a full tank of gas. And so, you know, let's move on more pedestrian, more bicycle, more scooter, you know, areas. You know, I happen to think that we have all the laws that we need on hand that go all the way back to, you know, 16th century marine highway laws for you know, covering all the laws for scooters and stuff, and little neighborhood electric vehicles. So if you're gonna work on infrastructure, go green, and, you know, don't be like Tesla. So you know what Tesla does? he lectures his employees, build more, sell more, so that he can fly around in his fuel-based private jet and build fuel-based rockets. Who needs that? You know, buy from somebody who actually drives their own electric vehicle. So buy from people
Put
who are
that
actually
on.
using their own stuff.
But I like Tesla.
Good morning.
You want to, okay. I would like to beg the council's slight indulgence. That guy that came up here today, and he was talking about infrastructure. And it almost made me cry, because I remember back, I don't remember the last time martial law was called